Hello, and welcome back to the Injury Podcast. I'm Dr. Craig Selinger, and today we have a great episode. We have a guest who is truly inspiring. She experienced a life changing event where a tragic accident occurred that left her paralyzed. But today's episode is not about what was taken away. It's a story, a journey about someone who had hope, who had faith, who had inspiration to move forward. And today, we're going to dive in and get a better understanding. So, people out there that have gone through injuries and feel like giving up, feel like they've lost hope, this episode is for you. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest, Aile. Nice to see you here today. And we are broadcasting today from the podcast studio in Boca Raton. And let's go into before the tragic accident. What was your life like?
Well, I was only 18 years old when I was shot. So I was still in high school. It was my senior year. Um, I dropped out of school, and I was working at a burger joint. I was a very hard worker. I loved working. I loved the gym. I was always up and doing everything. I was never home. I was a very active person. Um, I would work 40 hours a week. I loved working. School, not so much. But I think that was one of my biggest regrets was dropping out of school. But things happen.
Right,
Um, but yeah, I was a very active person.
right.
I was always going out shopping, going out to eat with my friends. Um, yeah.
Great. Okay, so you were hardworking, you were you were motivated, you were doing things, and then the accident happened. So, um, why don't we go into a little bit about how it happened, and how did you process this to go from somebody that was working, doing physical activities too? You know, if you're working in a restaurant, you're standing, you're moving, you're walking, you're doing so many different things and you're young. You were in high school senior, and then you were having fun. You were doing all these great things. So then the accident happened. So take us into that for us a little bit and how you process this.
So I was in a 4 year long relationship at the time. We so it all happened November 19th, 2022. That same day, me and my ex were moving into our new apartment. That same day, the day before I got accepted. Um, Everything was going great. We were moving in. Um, 7, 8 p.m. rolls around. We, we were just chilling at home. I was watching my show. Um, my ex was on a Instagram live. There was some commotion going on between two other people. Um, and he so I decided I wanted to go to McDonald's. I was hungry. Um, he basically tells me, well, we can go to McDonald's, but we're gonna have to first drive around by where these two people, were meeting up to fight, argue, whatever they were gonna do. I had a bad feeling about it. I didn't want to go to that certain area. I said, well, no, I have a really bad feeling about this and I don't think we should go. So he basically tricked me and he said, okay, well, let's go to McDonald's. Okay, I'm thinking, well, we're going to McDonald's. So we get in the car. It's 8 p.m. It's nighttime. It's 8 p.m. We get in the car. We're driving. Um, I noticed we missed a turn to go to McDonald's. So I turned to him and I was like, well, I know we're not going to where I think we're going. So I threatened to jump out the car because I was scared. He basically child locked the car.
Mm.
Um, I was like, okay. Well, we were driving. So these were his friends. It was his friends. It was two of his friends and two other people. I don't know them. And it was us. So we were in the car driving, and he, you know, driving around, and he ends up seeing his two friends. He notices one of his friends' cars, and I look at him and I'm like, okay, well, you see he's okay. We can leave. No, he decided to follow his friends, and um, we end up losing them. And he was like, okay, well, let's go. We turn into this random street, and they're both parked, blocking the street. Both cars were blocking the street, doors open. And the last thing I remember was just a whole bunch of lights. It instantly happened. Um, I didn't even hear the gunshots.
Mm.
I I thought I had a stomach ache because my stomach was hurting. I was like, "Well, I have a stomach ache." I was not there at the moment. I It was like the world was spinning so slowly around me, and everything was just going around so fast on the outside. And all I remember was just feeling like I had a stomach ache. But then, my ex, and I was in the passenger seat, he was in the driver's seat, and my ex is just frantically like screaming, trying to get out of there. And that's when I noticed I couldn't move my legs. So I was sitting with my legs up, kind of bent. Used to sit really weird in the car. My legs were flopping
Wow.
around, and I was like, I'm not in control of this. I'm not moving my legs, and I can't feel them. So that's when I realized I did get shot. Um, I instantly knew something was wrong. Um, so I turned to my ex and I tell him, well, I think I just got shot. At first, he didn't believe me until he looked at my puffer coat, and I had a hole in the puffer coat, and you could see like the white with blood. So that's when he noticed, oh, shoot, she really did get shot. So, um, immediately we get out of there. Um, he was very frantic. I mean, he was yelling, screaming, crying. He didn't even know where to go, what to do. So I was very calm, collective. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I was calm, like
Wow.
nothing ever happened. So I reached to my pocket and I grabbed my phone and I dialed 911. And we're on the phone with 911. I can't really talk because the bullet had, um, I'm pretty sure it went through my lung and my lung had collapsed. So
Mm.
I couldn't breathe. I was having trouble talking. Um, so I just passed the phone to him. I also had looked up the hospital, the nearest hospital. Um, so so we were driving to the hospital. The car ended up stopping. It broke down because of all the bullets holes in the car. The detectives ended up saying at the end that it was over 30 gunshots that were fired. So it was a lot. The car did end up stopping. I think the tire blew up, something like that. So the car stopped. I was still on the phone with 911. 911 didn't believe my ex. So he ended up coming to me. He was outside in the curb, and I was still in the car because he couldn't open the car door
Wow.
because the bullet had went through the passenger seat, so it broke the door. So he was outside on the phone with 911, and 911 didn't believe him. So he ends up bringing the phone to me, and he's like yelling. He's like, "They're not believing me.
Hmm.
Like, tell them like what's going on." So I'm like, "Well, I just got shot. I can't feel my legs, and like I need the paramedics. I need the police to come like now. The car stopped." So she ends up listening to me, the 911, and um, a couple minutes later, um, I could feel myself leaving my body. I was just laying there, just looking at the sky. Um, so my grandma, from my mom's side, she passed away 2 years prior to that night. And when I started to close my eyes, I seen her.
Wow.
I Everything was white, and I seen my grandma's like aura just like walking towards me with her hand out. And I mean, I could have sworn I died. The way that my body felt that night and how I couldn't breathe and everything was just going white. I I died. And when she was about to touch me, the police out of nowhere came and they broke the door open and they started putting pressure on the wound and I woke up. I was so confused. I was looking around like, was I not just dead? So the police, they came. They were trying to talk to me so I can talk, keep me talking. So a couple minutes later, the paramedics came. Um, I was conscious at the time. And when the paramedics came, very hectic. It's like it was a lot. It was a lot of people around me. Funny story, actually. I was not wearing a bra. I was in my pajamas, and I had a puffer on top of my pajamas, and I'm like, wait, I don't have a bra on, because they're trying to cut the puffer to
Hmm.
see like where the bullet holes are at. I'm like, wait, I don't have a bra on, and they look at me and they're like, we don't care, we're trying to save your life. So that was just something a little funny that happened. But yeah, they end up putting a neck brace, oxygen, and they were taking me out the car. It hurt so much. Um, I, I that was like the first time on the whole night that I yelled because of how much it hurt when they were moving me out. I had also got shot in my arm,
Mm.
so it had went through the car door, went through my arm, in and out. It went through the side right here, broke 3 ribs, went through my liver. My lung collapsed, so I'm guessing it had also went through my lung, and then it exploded in my spinal cord. So that's what paralyzed me. But yeah, then they took me out the car. They put me in the ambulance. I then again lost conscious. I then woke up at the hospital. And another funny story: when I was in the OR, the trauma surgeon in the room, she was taking my jewelry off, and I kept looking at her, and I'm like, "Could you please put me to sleep?" I just kept repeating that and repeating that and repeating that. Could you please put me to sleep? And they were just so like amused by how calm and I was
Wow.
and how I was just asking like if I could please be put to sleep. Because normally either people come in dead or very frantic and just trying,
Panicked.
yeah. So I was super calm. I was just looking at her and I'm like, can you please put me to sleep? It hurts. And they put me to sleep. I had two IVs in. And yeah, I then woke up in, the room that they put you in after
Mm-hmm.
you're done. So, but before that, when I was in the OR, my best friend, she came to the hospital. My mom, my dad, my ex. Um, One of the nurses from the OR came out and they told my parents, you might want to prepare yourselves. She's lost a lot of blood. She might not pull through, just, start preparing yourselves for the worst. Um, Turns out I pull through and I woke up in the room and all I seen was my mom crying over me, my ex crying over me. And I couldn't even speak. I just had my eyes open. No words would come out my mouth. Um, all I seen was just my mom and my ex just looking at me, like just telling me, well, my ex was saying I'm sorry, and then my mom was like, I love you. It was just too much. If I could have told him to get out, I would have told him to get out. But yeah, and then they transferred me to the ICU, and that's when you know the ICU was a very traumatic experience. That's when I really felt the pain in my spine, my body, my head. Everything just hurt so much. And they couldn't give me water because I could have been pulled to emergency surgery any second. So they were just like, you can't drink any water. So I was so thirsty and in so much pain. And one of the nurses actually gave me a little sponge with water
Mm.
because I was so thirsty. The ICU again was very, very traumatic. I mean, I was in so much pain. They had to put heat packs, cold packs on my back because I was just complaining so much that my spine, I could literally feel my spine in so much pain. Like it
Mm.
felt like I could feel it. It was crazy. Um, then I think the day after was when they broke the news that I was never going to walk again and that I was paralyzed T9 from like the stomach down. Um, I didn't really process it at the moment. Um, my parents were like, well, don't like, kind of like tell her like what it is to be paralyzed. Don't just come in and tell her that she's never going to walk again. Like the way the nurse came in and just like told me, you're never going to walk again, by the way. I was on so much drugs, I couldn't really even understand what she was saying. So, it really hit me when at night when I would get spasms. I didn't know what those were. I thought a ghost was pulling my feet.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, there's a ghost in here. But when the nurses would come in, I would pull the emergency button on the bed. I'm like, there is a ghost or someone in here that's pulling my feet. And she was like, no, girl, like, those are spasms. And you better get used to them because. But yeah, back to when I had got shot, I instantly knew that I was never gonna walk again. It was kind of like a brain switch. Um, when I seen that my feet were literally,
Yeah, didn't have control of your
I didn't
feet.
have any. I was like, no. I knew it instantly in my heart. I knew that something was wrong. But it was easy to process it because I instantly knew that I was obviously never gonna walk again. Um, but yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of
So much maturity. And you were 17 or 18?
18. Yeah.
18 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So much control, so much maturity, insight. Most people, like you said, would have panicked.
Mm-hmm.
They would maybe not want to communicate, not talk. and you just had this, like, where was there other times in your life when something happened to you, not as profound and tragic, that you got trained to be able to react or respond to this kind of tragedy in this way? Because not everybody that I know of is able to handle this kind of trauma
Mm-hmm.
in that way. So just right off the start, I think, I commend you. One, you're lucky that you didn't pass, and we're lucky that you didn't pass, because I think you have a lot to be able to give people in knowing a little bit more about you that we've talked before. Did you ever feel like giving up?
Well, no and yes. You know, we all have our moments where we just don't know how to handle certain things. But when I was in the hospital, in the trauma recovery center as well as in the rehab, my mom would walk in crying, just stressed, sad. And I would look at her and I'm like, "Mom, I'm alive. I'm here. I'm not gone. I'm here." So I feel like the words that I would say were I would hear them back and I would take them in. I was very positive during the whole process of it. I was going through a lot. It was a lot to process, a lot of emotions. I had also gotten broken up with. He left me. He didn't come see me at the hospital. So it was very hurtful about that. But giving up, I mean, I have my moments where it gets hard, having a neurological bladder, a neurological bowel. I mean, it gets hard. I feel like that is very hard on your mental, especially when it stops working in a second and you have to get used to these things that you were never used to. So that was very hard getting used to. And sometimes, when I have accidents,
Hmm.
I get very stressed out and I'm like, well, if I had died that night, I wouldn't have to deal with all of this. But then again, it's only a second. I can
Right.
go take a shower, can go clean myself up.
Hmm.
It's not something that is worth saying, "Oh, I should have died that night."
Right.
It's things that I can resolve, you
Mm.
know.
Where do you think your strength comes from?
Okay. Um in knowing that I'm going to be okay. In knowing that I have a future, a bright future ahead of me. You know, you don't find that strength till you realize you're going to be okay. And also wanting to push forward and wanting to do better for yourself. Because I remember when I was in rehab and I couldn't transfer for the life of me. I was scared of the floor. I was scared I was going to face plant and just break all my teeth, break my face.
Right. So transferring from chair
From chair,
to
from my feet to the
bed,
bed.
or chair and so forth like
Yeah,
that.
to any. It was just very stressful. I couldn't do it. But that's because I was telling myself that I couldn't do it. I kept telling myself, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this." And my therapist, my physical therapist, they would look me in the eyes and say, "But you can do it. You're choosing not to.
Mm.
You're choosing to be scared." And, having people that tell you straight up what it is and what it isn't is very good for you. Because, when people are telling you, like, "Oh, it's okay to be scared," or, just trying to, "Oh, it's okay, we can do it later." No, you have to do it now. And I mean, my physical therapist would have me doing transfers, like 30 different transfers in an hour.
Mm.
And I was just, it was really just the people I was around, the physical therapists, my neurologists, just my nurses, doctors. Everyone was so kind, and everyone was just so kind to me.
So you had a great network support system from your doctors, your physical therapist. They challenged you.
Mm-hmm.
They pushed you
Yes.
to be able to go to the next
Mm-hmm.
level, uh, which is great,
Yes.
which is
It was
awesome.
amazing.
But not everybody
Not everyone.
does that. And what we're trying to find out more in this podcast is, do you have a strong reason or why that kept you going, a dream, a future? Like what kind of mindset did you have to be able to say to yourself, I got to do this because there's more. I want to do more. Because obviously, like I said, there are people that don't do it, or they get down, or it takes them so much more time.
Mm-hmm.
From listening to your story, you were the rock for your mom. You were your mom's rock.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some of those things you think that pulled you through those strong whys, like what we just talked about?
So, like I said, I had dropped out of high school and I was just working at a burger joint. I didn't really have any plans to do anything in life. I didn't plan to go to college. I didn't really plan ahead, you know? I didn't have those big dreams of doing anything. I was that kind of person that just lived in the moment and just went with the flow. Um, until this happened to me. And I genuinely feel like this was a blessing in disguise. And this had to happen to me to wake up and realize that I was living terribly. I I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy in my relationship. It was very toxic. Um and he just kept me so small-minded.
Mm,
And with this happening and getting out of that relationship, it opened my eyes to so many possibilities and so much that I could accomplish in the future and in the moment. So, like when this happened to me, you know, at first obviously you're asking yourself, why me?
mm,
Why did this have to happen to me? But with time, it's going to be 3 years in this upcoming November. And you know, I've been only injured for a short amount of time. Hasn't been, you know, many years, but in this short amount of time that I've experienced this, I am coming to a realization of why I'm here,
mm.
why I was kept here. And now I have goals. Now I see myself making it big. Now I see myself wanting to help people like me or just wanting to help people in general.
Right. So this tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
this accident happening to you gave you a new purpose.
Yes, it did.
And maybe beforehand, you were the kind of person, you were a doer, you worked hard, you kept busy at a time, full-time job. You just probably very task oriented. You did the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Maybe your mother had instilled in you a work ethic, a mentality, a mindset
Definitely.
of pushing on and not giving up. So, with speaking to that, I know you just had said, well, I don't know at that point, I didn't know. And then the accident gave me a new purpose. But your regular attitude about moving forward and strength that you have is refreshing. It's great. Do you think your mom or your dad had an impact, or another family member that you know had an impact on you? They taught you from an early age to do things and to keep pushing.
Yeah. My parents, they moved here from Cuba. Um, so growing up, they didn't have the things that I have now. Watching them grow up from a very young age and them working so hard
Mm,
and being able to give me and my little sister things, that they never had was very inspiring. And I definitely recognize their hard work and all they do for us. Um, and I feel like I carry that strength from both of them of wanting a better life and wanting to do better. My parents are very hard workers and they are very good people. And I feel like I carry on that trait. And, you know, when I was in the hospital, it was really my mom, my dad, my little sister, and my best friend who really came and visited me the most. Um, but my mom and dad, my dad was working, and um, I had 2 chest tubes to drain all the blood and fluid in my body. And um, I remember I had to get it taken out. I wanted my ex there, but he didn't want to come. So my dad left work, came, and stood by me, holding me while they were putting in the other one because I had to get two. They took the first one out and then they had to put it back in. So having my mom and dad there through every step of the way was very helpful. I had a very great support system from the beginning, and that also helped me be able to carry on and just, to be there with them.
right,
Because if it weren't for them, I mean, I wouldn't know what I would do now.
right.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think that's interesting because seeing your parents as when you were really young work hard and be dedicated, and having a strong family, a supportive family from even when you were very young, instilled something in you, a a mindset to persist, to do to work hard, and to be there for one another. And that's so important for whether somebody gets injured and it's a major tragedy where someone could be paralyzed, or it might be somebody that now they have a bad injury and they might not have the fortitude or the maturity to handle it because um, they never faced anything like this, one, or they don't have that support network. So,
Yeah.
when you're injured, I think it's important to connect with family, And this is just another reason. People don't think about this. A lot of people in today's society are self absorbed, they're in it for themselves. We're not as together with family
Right.
as we used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we, as a society, when things happen to one another, we have that family, that close knit family that can get us through,
Yes.
that can teach us from when we're young the right values that are going to get us through hard times. And people that, like your parents, have grit, hard work, determination, And that I see in you.
Yeah.
And they're you know, that's I think something that we could share with a lot of the listeners to connect with family.
Yes, definitely.
And if you know someone that had this in any kind of injury, be there for them. Show up. They're going through something. So uh, that was a beautiful story that you had told us. If someone's out there now and they're going through an injury, what piece of advice would you give them to help them get through, to stay positive like you have, to keep pushing, to have a new purpose, to help others, which we're going to talk about in a little while? What would you tell the people out there?
So, um, even with or without a support system, I mean, you have yourself, and I feel like that's enough. Um, you know yourself, you know your heart, you know your brain, and you can control your life. You can control what you do now, you can control what you do tomorrow. It's really up to you to want to move forward, especially after something very traumatic. Um, it's not easy in the beginning and now. It's never going to get easier. Um, but you have to learn to live with it. And that's okay. You know, even if you're a quad, if you're a para, if you have any other type of disability, I mean, there's so many possibilities to do great things. I mean, I've met incredible people that are quads,
Mhm.
paras, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And they do amazing things
And they enjoy life.
and they enjoy life. I mean, I just went on a trip, on a cruise, to the Bahamas. You never really know how accessible things are until you experience them. And even if it's not accessible, you can still make it accessible.
Right.
It's going to be a little hard, but just keep going. Don't stop living your life just because of a of a little setback, you know? Life is so beautiful to want to stop living it. You know what I mean? Just live your life. Life is so beautiful, and I mean, since I've been injured, I went to Puerto Rico. I went on a cruise. I mean, I've been to different cities in Florida, and I can still do everything that I was able to do before, even if I'm in a wheelchair. I mean,
Right. Your total perspective on life now,
mhm,
totally different.
totally different.
Right.
Yes.
You see the beauty in so many different things. You see what you can do. You see possibility.
And the beauty in people.
Right.
People are so sweet. I mean, obviously you're gonna come across people that are just very mean.
Yeah, there are. I mean, we're in South Florida, so.
Yes, but that's okay. Smile at them. You
Right.
never know what people are going through behind closed doors. I mean, you know, people usually think that I got in a car accident because again, I'm too pretty to be in a wheelchair or I'm too pretty to have gotten shot. Things happen. Things happen to anyone. I mean, you could be walking down the street and out of nowhere, you could get shot.
So let's talk a little bit. Um, Aile 2.0.
Yes.
Okay. So, what now? Being you have this new perspective, you have this tiger strength that you embody. How do you want to make a change? How do you want to make a difference in people's life? And we spoke a little bit about motivational speaking and about other things that you could help either people. There's companies that also face challenges. We live in a challenging society. What's the next chapter for you?
Okay. So, like I said, I had dropped out of high school. Um, a year into my injury, I finished. I had
Awesome.
got my high school diploma, so that's great. Thanks to my mom, she helped me. Um, I went to college last year, my first semester. Um, it was hard. Haven't been in school in a very long time. I had did online to finish my high school diploma, so it was a very big transition, being in a wheelchair and having to go to college because I'm an in-person person. I love to learn in person. I can't do online. So, um I went to my first semester. I was majoring in psychology. Um I learned a lot about myself and I learned a lot about people and the way they think. So, that was very eye-opening for me. I took a couple semesters off just to kind of, you know, better myself because I psychology is a very intense class.
Yes.
I mean, if you're not prepared for the things you learn, you're not going to get through it.
And I think it's normal to step back sometimes to learn, step back, reflect, decide, what other classes you want to take, and to take it, reflect upon it, and then take the next
Yes.
move, the next uh, part that you're going to move forward with.
Yes. So, this spring semester, I'm going back to school. I officially know what I want to do. I want to get into sonography school. I want to do ultrasounds on different body parts, like the heart, lungs, liver.
Great.
Um, I love anything medical, and especially being in the hospital so much. I love it. I love I just love it so much. I mean, I've watched so many shows. I just love it a lot. And I want to be able to be around people and help people.
Great.
Even if it's not a injury like mine, just anyone, if anyone, I mean, I want to work in a hospital. So going back to school to be a sonographist, I mean, I want to be able to help people and I want to also be able to talk to people. So it's just, I mean,
It's possibility.
yes,
You want to learn,
I
you
want
want
to
to
learn.
grow,
Yes.
you want to also focus on others
Mm-hmm.
in helping them.
Yes.
You want to give back. And I think when even myself, if I'm going through something, I mean, not if I'm having a bad day,
Mm-hmm.
and if I just focus on something else, someone else, and helping someone else,
That's enough
I
for
feel
me.
better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great. So from just kind of summing up some of these different things that we talked about today, having a strong network of doctors, great doctors, therapists to challenge you. And we're going to do an episode sometime in the near future about how to get the right therapist or what you should look for. So that's important. Two, family. Family is so important, and to have them there for you to help you. And then it seems like from the story, you helped your family
Mm-hmm.
because you were so strong
Yes.
that you were the rock for your mom,
And
it
still,
sounded like.
I mean,
So, those family ties, a being raised by two parents in a family where hard work, right, the great values were instilled in a young age,
yes.
it made you very calm, controlled, strong. You felt like you can do things because you came from a family that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. That's great. And then now to see how your perspective on life has changed,
Yes.
to see how you have more that you want to give to the world, more that you want to learn. You see beauty in different experiences that maybe you didn't see as much before, or maybe you did,
Mhm.
but now you see that in a different light.
Yes. And as well as being in a wheelchair and having to do physical therapy is very hard, especially when you go to a physical therapy place and the therapist doesn't know anything about spinal cord injuries. It's very stressful and it's very annoying that, they ask me if I can stand up or if I can move my legs or, you know, no, I can't. So, one thing that I would love to do in the future, in the near future, is I want to open my own physical therapy place specifically for spinal cord injuries or any disabilities that are similar to this. Um, I want to have physical therapists that are specialized in spinal cord injuries that know very specific, have standing frames because they don't have standing frames in any physical therapy place that I've been to. Standing frames, just anything that helps us.
Mm,
I want to be able to help my community and I want to be able to give back because it's a struggle. I mean, there is a amazing place in Miami, Lynn Rehabilitation Center that I used to go to when I lived in Miami, but I don't live near Miami anymore. So it's been very hard finding somewhere like that. I mean, they have a great community of people that are specialized in spinal cord injuries. And I mean, they do events for, disabled people. And it's amazing to see how everyone comes together and celebrates us as people, not just as people in wheelchairs, as people, because we are people. We're humans. We're all
right,
humans.
right,
Just because we can't walk, that doesn't define us.
right,
That doesn't define us as people in wheelchairs. We're still humans.
right,
And we can still do anything that a normal person can do.
right.
So I want to be able to grow a community here in West Palm Beach or Boynton Beach, Delray, anywhere just near me of people who need it. Because again, some people don't have that kind of support system from
Mm,
their family, friends,
that's great.
and they kind of just depend on strangers.
Mm,
Um, so I want to be able to grow a community of people with spinal cord injuries or not even spinal cord injuries, people who need help, people who want to talk about things, people who need people, but people who you're able to understand, because not anyone just understands, like, you know. So I would love to grow and open up my own place
great.
for people to come and just enjoy themselves. That's a very big dream of mine. But yeah.
That's great. Now, if someone out there wants to get in touch with you, can you share your contact information, your socials?
Yes.
We're also going to have this in the show notes, so we'll have this. But please, let's if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
Okay, so I have an Instagram and my DMs are open for anyone who wants to message me. It's IITSAILE. Um, Anyone is welcome to text me. I mean, I might not answer at the moment, but I do look at my DMs all the time and I receive so many messages from spouses of, their significant other who has suffered a traumatic, injury that they just don't know how to deal with things. They reach out to me. I mean, I've met so many people in person as well that are in wheelchairs and have gone through something similar to me. And seeing people smile and having that kind of support system or just friends, just anyone, or just being by themselves, getting out the car is very inspiring
Right.
and it's beautiful. And again, telling people who are newly injured or have been injured for a very long time that are going through a really hard time, you don't you it's just like life is so beautiful.
Right.
And I know it may not seem like it at the time or sometimes, but having a smile and just saying things to yourself, even when no one's listening,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe you're in the bathroom just looking at yourself, but you're, you know, looking at yourself, your reflection is beautiful. I mean, talking to yourself, telling yourself like affirming things, speaking life into yourself, and just, you know, waking up every single day and being able to say, I'm here, I'm alive, I can do this.
Right.
It's very, it's nice.
It's great. That's
Yeah,
awesome. We're not alone.
we're not.
We're not alone, and you're here for them, and you're going to start this community, and we're going to give more information in the show notes. Now, this comes to the latter part of our show where we have a superhero ritual. So we have a comeback symbol of hope is superheroes for us. And we have these different tumblers that are superheroes. And Ben is going to bring them by right here. And I want you to pick one out that speaks to you, okay? Because you are our superhero for having that strength, that courage, that hope to push on, that strength. It's intoxicating. I'm so happy that you've been on our show today.
Thank
So,
you
which
so
one?
much.
We got Wonder Woman,
So
Batman,
let's see.
Superman, Captain America,
We got
Hulk,
Thor,
I
Deadpool.
feel
and we got Wonder Woman too.
Wonder Woman definitely speaks to me, not only because we're both women, but because courage, the truth, and compassion. To want to keep going. And she's so strong.
Yes.
I mean, not only physically, but mentally. And I've watched her movies, and, you know, I mean, all the superheroes are very inspiring in their own way, but Wonder Woman definitely speaks to me. So,
Awesome. Well, this has been a great episode. And for those of you out there in YouTube land, or if you're listening to us on iTunes or Apple Podcast, you're not alone. If you've been injured, seriously injured, you're not alone. And again, like what we always say, like, follow, subscribe, and share this with someone that is going through an injury or a spouse of someone that they're going through an injury. And let's get strong together. Can I do the outro again? I'm sorry. So, like we always say, at the end of our episode, like, follow, subscribe, and share this with somebody that's going through an injury. And let's get stronger together. All right.
that was amazing.
Did you have fun?